Here we go. Hi folks, hope you're okay. Jonny here. It's Wednesday 3rd of June and here we are for the Trouble Kids live stream number 5. So here we go. Look, me and Harry are here. Harry the Hound. If you haven't been on previous links and you don't know what that's about, check out the links in the description below. Harry the Hound is a book to help children cope with going back to school post lockdown. So there we go. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jonny Matthew. I'm a social worker and a criminologist, providing information and inspiration for people who work with troubled children and young people. So just here to help, really. We can't get out and about, we can't train, we can't see folk, so thought I'd just make myself available and provide a place where we can get together. For those of you again who might be new, this group, if you're watching this on YouTube, this live stream happens in the Troubled Kids group on Facebook. I wanted a place where people who are passionate about and committed to helping troubled children and their families, just to be able to chat, share information, share resources, help each other out with advice and guidance and things, that was free from the kind of public glare in that big wider sense. So that's what this is about. So if you are new to being here, then you're very welcome. It is great to have you. It's not all about me, it's about sharing in the group as well. So welcome, and that sounds like time for a theme tune. There we go. Welcome everybody. Right, let's see who's in. Matthew's in. Pam's in. Yeah, there was an interruption, Pam. I'm not sure what it was. Hi, Rosie. Glad you got the book okay. Rosie was a book winner last week. Philippa. Hi, loving Harry the Hound. Hi, Amanda. Sabrina. Deborah. Bernie. Yes, nice drop of rain. I think the gardens are the only things that really want it, but there we go. Hi, Kelly. Martin, hello, mate. Good to have you on. Martin Hatton, one of our kind of principal posters in the group. You need to post less at ungodly hours of the morning, mate. You're like me, nocturnal, you never stop. So today's for you, self-care. Hi, Mary O'Shaughnessy. I hope you're doing okay, Mary. You like the t-shirt? It's fab, innit? If you want one of these, I'm not sure if there's any left actually. Neil Davis, if you look at his post on the Troubled Kids group, if you're watching this on YouTube, click in to join the group, and we'll click you through, and you'll be able to find that on there, and you can at least ask Neil then if there are any more. It's raising money for NHS charities and stuff, so that and the book proceeds are going to that. That's partly why we're keen to encourage it. Let's have a look. Jackie, hi. Nicola, hi. Hi, Dusty. Hello, mate. I don't play all those instruments. I wish I did. Can play the drums a bit, sing a bit, but as for the riffy guitar, unfortunately, I can't do that. I wish I could. Maya, hello. Lovely. It's great to see you. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Rach. Sandy. Well, fab. Thanks for being on, folks. It's great to see you. So, just to say, we are going to do another free book giveaway at the end. I've got 2 of these to give away. We're talking about self-care today because Dusty and Trish and myself, we are TRM Academy, have launched our first online course today, which is effectively is the kind of online version of that little book. So we're giving 2 of those away this week. We gave 2 last week. Andrea and Rosie, both Phillipses. You had to be a Phillips to win last week. I know Rosie's got hers. I can't remember whether Andrea's been in touch. I'm not sure, but hopefully you've got yours as well. So 2 more of those we're giving away later. Just to say, if you are watching this on YouTube and you want to catch it live, obviously click through on Facebook to join the group, but also please subscribe on YouTube so that we can get you the notifications and things. Just also on that, because we're getting quite a lot of views on YouTube, I'm going to try after today to put some timestamps in the description under the video. So if you do watch it on YouTube, and for instance you want to flick straight through to the school's guidance, you'll be able to see in the description at what point in the video that occurs, and then you can skip forward if you don't want to hear the rest. So that's going to be there for you. So well, I'm going to try and do it. as with all of this, it's a journey into the unknown. I'm having flashbacks all the time of watching Jacques Cousteau scuba diving programs when I was a kid, where he says, and so we go into the unknown, down into the deep. And so it feels a bit like that, but I'm going to try and put timestamps on. Anyway, there we go. So first off, just as always, we're going to look at some of the, just a couple of the posts from this week, because I just want to, I know there's a lot of new people in the group. We're up to more than 1,200 people in the group, bearing in mind I think it was, I don't know, somewhere around about 600, maybe 700 before we started this. So it's great to see all you guys in who are new. And just to reinforce the fact that the quality of this group is in the people who post. Now Martin who posts, and Harry who posts, and Pam and Andrea, and all people who've posted in recent days. It's just fantastic stuff. So please get over there and have a look at that. But I want to highlight some just so you can get a flavour of it. So if we skip over onto the Mac, so you can see here, this was a post that Harry Coleman from Fabric Wales. Fabric Wales is a, well, or just Fabric, I think, is a care leavers community, I think is the full name. So Harry and her colleagues are providing leaving care, accommodation and so on. And she is a regular poster in the group. But Harry just shared Stacey Watson's video. So Stacey is ex of Fabric. And it's just lovely. You know, she's talking in the video, and this is an article on the BBC site about, you know, students who are quite isolated, struggle and may actually have to drop out, and they drop out at a much higher rate anyway, and they're more than twice as likely to drop out than their peers if they've been care leavers. So, but this is just such a heartwarming thing. She's what's lovely about it, even though she's highlighting a kind of a challenge, you know, being kind of quite isolated as a young person, not having relatives to draw on to help her, not just socially but also financially, because she can't go to work. How's she going to do a food shop? She can't do a food shop and go to work. How can she sustain herself in her studies? And that's really difficult. Massive issue for care leavers who are disadvantaged on so many levels. It's a crime, really. But this was a lovely story, and it's just, you can pick up when Stacey is speaking her determination and resolve to crack on and win through. So that was a great post there. Thanks for sharing that, Harry. Another post just to say that we have now, we being TRM Academy, if I can show you that, I'm not sure. Here we are. So this is just the version on my website, but I'm showing you this because this is the photo that's in the Troubled Kids group. It's helping kids back to school after lockdown. My TRMA esteemed good friend and colleague, Dr. Tricia Scoose, who's a consultant child and adolescent clinical psychologist, she's written some guidance. And you can get this in 2 forms. You can get to it through my blog, johnnymatthew.com/blog, and you'll see it there. Or you can go to the TRM link, which I'll put in the description. And in fact, you link through to it from my blog anyway. You have to go through a blog, but it gets you through to TRM. But it's in 3 parts on the website here. And she's talking about, what anxiety looks like. Whose worry is it anyway? This is in part 2. There's an initial first part which covers just what's going on at the moment, sets the context really of the COVID-related lockdown and how tricky that is for everybody, and how our worries as parents and carers can feed into the worries and anxieties that kids have. And I know we've had a lot of conversation in the group and on here in recent weeks about this. Whose worry is it anyway? Common anxieties about going back to school. And then some really fascinating stuff, because obviously it looks like it's going to be the younger children, reception year 1, and the older kids in year 6, so the transition year, the 10, 11-year-olds who are going to high school, who are going to be going back first. So she breaks it down and looks specifically at their challenges and the sorts of things that may crop up for them. And then if you, so she deals with some specific worries about anxieties about illness, separation, missing out, bullying, different parents' fears. And then if you go over to part 3, this is all about strategies. And as always with Trish, she manages to boil the most seemingly complex stuff into stuff that you can really grab hold of with both hands and run with. So I really recommend you look at this, talking about it. Preparation is the key. Stuff about sleep and routine, reassurance. So it's golden. If I go back to part 1, I can just show you that you can also download on the front page of this. You can also download this as a PDF. So if you want to print it off and have it as a single document, you could take it away. So gratitude to Trish for writing that. It's really very good and hopefully very timely. I know the guys in England have already gone back. But I know as Scotland and Wales, Northern Ireland wind up to that, and other places too, there'll be some real utility in that. So please, that's free. Download that, share it around. That would be great. I know also this week has been a real tricky week in terms of the George Floyd murder, the police murder of George Floyd, I believe in Minneapolis, and just in my surfing on the internet and keeping an eye on things, I think somebody posted in the group a useful link about this, and this is self-care. So we've got a self-care theme today. This is self-care for black people who are struggling with this very painful week. It's on Vice.com. Oasis Connection, that was it. There's somebody posted it on there, and if you click through to the article, this is it. And again, it's very practical, it's very empathic. There are links through to all kinds of things. I just found reading it actually in itself, as a white person who has no idea what it's like to be in the shoes of black people right now, or as we were saying with Stacey, I don't know what it's like to be a care leaver right now. We all lack that real gold dust of other people's perspectives, but I found reading this really helpful to me and actually quite moving as well. And I know you guys will all be completely behind and supportive of this kind of struggle, but I just wanted to share that, and the link again is in the description. So that's just a few kind of posts from the week. So please post stuff, guys. If you're new to the group and you know of good resources, something you come across online or anywhere that you think is useful, it might be news items, resources, information, infographics, a great training info, whatever it might be, please just share it. Because we're glad to see what's around. I go through occasionally and weed stuff out just to tidy it up, so don't be offended if you share something, it's there for a few days and then it's gone. The group is very busy, there's 1,200 people in it, so I just try and wheedle out stuff like the promo videos that I put on to let people know that this stream is happening. once the stream is happened, I tend to strip those out because they're not really relevant anymore. So I'll do that with other posts as well, just to tidy it up and keep it as slick as we can. Okay, so that's the last week's stuff. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, because we may move to YouTube at some point. We may not, we don't know yet. But that's helpful. Okay, questions. So each week we do a little slot where folks have asked questions in the group, and you can do that. Please do that. You can do that through the comments, either on the Facebook page or on the YouTube comments. I'm in there constantly looking for tips that I can look into and help with, to keep me busy and keep me out of trouble, and hopefully be a help to you guys as well. So please, if you've got questions and comments, please put them in. So what I want to do is just say at the beginning a little disclaimer on the question answer thing. These are just my opinion. I'm clearly not an expert in all things. I will give my opinion of what people raise in an effort to help. But we have a couple of kind of pointers. Please don't use kids' names in the comments, or if you're asking questions, don't include identifiable information. And always bear in mind, these sessions are not a replacement for professional help. If you need that, please do it. This is just me, small Yorkshire person, giving my advice online from what I read in a comment. So as long as we know that's what it is, that'll be cool. So the first question is from Debbie Rose. Hi, Deb. Who says, I'm finding lockdown is reinforcing one of my children's antisocial behaviour. Before lockdown, we were getting there, but now it's 10 steps back. Any suggestions how we can help them whilst in lockdown? It's a really good question, Debbie. And I totally get that. And this is kind of the other side, I guess, to kids who are loving lockdown and finding the stability and predictability of consistent parenting and safe home environment and things. They're finding that a reassurance and are settling into it. For other kids, it'll be a real difficult time. So first of all, I'd refer you back to the stream we did, Debbie, back on the 6th of May, where we looked at regressed behaviour. If you look at this triangle behind me here, this is the trauma recovery model. I haven't got it open, so it's quicker to do it on here. As kids develop, they go up the model and they progress up. And what you can find is that kids get to a certain stage of development. They may still be behind, as it sounds like the child you're talking about may be, but they've got to a certain stage. And the point is not how old they are. The point is how they're doing in terms of development. And the stuff inside the triangle, the bits inside these stripy lines here, they are the kind of behaviours and presentations that you see in children. So have a look at the triangle. Check where the behaviour of the child that you've got in mind best fits, which layer they're in. Then read off on the right of the triangle what the underlying needs are for that child. These are ballpark kind of examples. As you can imagine, you can't cover every scenario in a one-page diagram. But have a look at what, on the right-hand side of the triangle, what the needs are that the child is experiencing. They may not know about them and be cognizant of them. In fact, they almost certainly won't be. But it's good for us to know where they're at. And then on the left side of the triangle, opposite the same coloured line, it offers the kinds of intervention types, or if it's a child at home, the kind of care type that they need right now that matches their presentation to meet that underlying need. We've mentioned this before, but if you go on to trmacademy.com/stuff, you can download a free PDF of this diagram. I mean, if you want to buy a posh poster like this, they're about a tenner, I think. But if you can download a free one, an A4 one, just blow it up on a photocopy at work or something, or just have an A4 if it's at home. Stick it on the fridge. You know, it's It's a useful thing. You can get that there. Use that as a guide. I think the principle with this, as we've said before, is that we need to adapt to where the children are at. We found this working with some of the really very complex teenagers, particularly in youth justice, that they can be, it can take a long time, and they really just start to make progress, which is what I'm getting a sense happened for you, Debbie. You're just starting to make progress. And so you change the way you are with them because they can take it now, and they can maybe do something a bit more involved, or they can talk directly about what they're thinking and feeling, whereas before you had to be indirect and creative and so on. And then something will happen and you get kids slide back down, and you get a reversion to old behaviours. They're back to like it was before they made progress, and that sounds what you're happening. And we've often sat in review meetings and agonised about, well, they were doing so well and now they seem to have slipped back. What do we do? And then it's dawned on us that actually we've changed what we're doing because they made progress. But now they've slipped back. We're still up here. We're still doing what we were doing for the progress bit. Whereas what we now need to do is revert back. The child has reverted back. Now we need to revert back and adapt what we're doing to best suit where they're currently at now. And that can feel like a failure, but it isn't. It's just empathic responsiveness to the needs of the child. And as soon as we do it, what we've found, more times than I can count now, is that when we adapt and we meet the child where they're at, we meet their needs, we don't try and urge them back to that point of progress. If they could do that, they would do that, but they can't. So they need us to come back, adapt what we do to where they are now, and then you find very quickly you get an uptick. Now, it depends on the level of challenge, and it depends on how badly a child's been affected by whatever it is that's challenged them, lockdown in this case. But if you hang in there and adapt to what the child needs, I have no doubt at all, Debbie, that will really help you. Just to say as well that on the kids group, Harry Coleman's posted the C.A.R.E.S.S model, which is Lisa Ferencz's model. You might find that useful, particularly where you've got behaviour like that. You mentioned antisocial behaviour, Debbie, so it may be really useful to go back and just have a look at that. You'll find that it'll be Wednesday, because I'm pretty sure that was posted, that Harry posted that during the live stream. So go back and have a look at that, and that's a really helpful way of just unpicking how we can help kids respond more constructively to whatever they're feeling. And the TRM stuff will give you that ballpark idea about how you might be able to do it as well. Just a quick reminder, that link, trmacademy.com/stuff. You can download the TRM there for nothing. Right, so question from Lynn. Now we're into self-care now. We're going to focus on that. We're going to focus on this again next week, but I've also got time built in for other questions, so please put your questions in the comments. All right, question from Lynn. So Lynn is saying, now Lynn's very experienced. I believe Lynn is a foster carer now, but she's worked for many years, 20 odd years in domestic abuse, and she's talking about a child who she's currently caring for, who is displaying some really, really, really difficult behaviour, poor self-regulation, developmental delay, periods of regress behaviours, attachment difficulties, explosive rages. And what she's talking about, it's for Lynn, she's saying there are real echoes with the domestic abuse situation, in that they're in the house, you're stuck in because of lockdown, and there's this child who is really problematic and is targeting, inverted commas, the behaviour at her, and she's just saying his behaviour so often mirrors the domestic abuse cycle that it blows me away. I also feel he often creates the conflict, and the outbursts is a kind of release for him. That's absolutely right, and that feeds back into that Lisa Ferenc stuff about releasing the endorphins. We have to help them communicate alternatively, then release the endorphins to balance up that body chemistry that's causing the agitation. And she goes on to say, from a self-care aspect, I realise I'm living in a mirror, if you like, of a domestic abuse situation. I'm the primary target. I really want to try and help him break his cycle, but I'm also very aware of the impact on me. Thank you, Lynn, for sharing that. You're absolutely right, man. I can just totally feel that, really, about being in and being in close proximity, needing to care, but also dealing with this really turbulent, explosive behaviour. And I think what Lynn's pointing out is fantastic there, that in terms of self-care, it really is a dual task. It's about helping the child, but it's also about looking after ourselves. And I know we keep saying this, but I just absolutely believe it, that one requires the other. We have to look after ourselves in order to be able to look after the kids that we serve. And if we don't, really both of us will suffer detriment as a result of that, and can both end up burning out actually as a result, because part of our role is to help kids to regulate. And if we can't do that and we can't regulate ourselves, we're less likely to be able to do that, which means the thing runs free and becomes really problematic. So thank you for pointing that out, Lynn. I think building self-care into the routine is absolutely crucial. And you know, it's difficult. Lockdown causes all kinds of challenges that maybe are not ordinarily there. Benefits too. But in ordinary situations, if kids are not around, you know, they're in school or they're at a club or, you know, footy training or dancing or whatever it might be, then we need to grab those times after bedtimes, even if it's ungodly o'clock in the night. After bedtimes are critical. I often do it. My daughter is only here some of the time, but when she is, and even when she isn't, I find myself staying up. Even when Karen's turned in for the night, I sometimes stay up, even just for 10 or 15 minutes, just to let everything rest, take a breath, and have a kind of few to myself to try and stay fueled up. On the Looking After Number One, the course, the online course that we launched on a day before yesterday, which I'm going to tell you more about in a bit, we talk about a thing called the Great Escape, which is like a nuclear option for self-care that guarantees progress. I'm not going to tell you what it is here just yet. Might mention it next week, but it's in the course. So I refer you on to that. But as you say, Lynn, being aware of the impact on us is the first completely crucial step. Thank you, Ellie Shepherd, who posted in the group. Ellie saying similarly, really sharing her own experience. Ellie says, it took me till I was 38 to have a breakdown. But when I did, she collapsed, smashed her face, injured herself pretty badly. She said, I just couldn't stop. I wasn't satisfied unless I consistently delivered 100% at work and at home. I was off work for 4 months, felt unsupported at work with so much additional work piled on me. Worked on annual leave, even dialed into meetings when I was at my caravan, and there was only me doing the role. It was toxic and something had to give, and it was me that broke. Bless you. Yeah, hard. The same thing happened to me, although I think it was probably more my fault in my case. Following this, Ellie says, I started to heal, take time out. I now have a new job. I'm 14 months in, and I'm open when I'm struggling. Every day, even if it's 20 minutes, I read or listen to a book. I'm truly getting the concept of self-care, although still find it difficult at times. Well, bless you. Thanks for letting us know that, Ellie. I really appreciate you sharing your experience there. It's so much more poignant, isn't it, when we lift it off the page and it's about real people. And you absolutely... Oh, and the last thing she says, sorry, I bolded it. I thought it was me. But she says, you can't function on an empty battery, is my reminder. Much love to everybody. Absolutely, absolutely right. And I was struck having read that with this notion that we can only control what we can control. And sometimes other people put pressure on us. Work puts pressure on us. We put internal pressure on us. And sometimes we need to sift through it all and say, what is it that I can control here? And how much of that can I dial down to give me a little bit of respite or a little bit of headroom, some margin in the diary. I read quite a lot of Stoic stuff. I really like it, and the Stoics are very strong on this idea that worrying about what you can't control and investing emotional energy in what other people can control is a waste of time. And the quicker we wake up to the fact that if we can't control it, then it's time to shift our attention, and we need to shift it onto the stuff we can control. And quite often, if we do that right, the rest will either have to just wait, or it will give in line with what we can control. So I do think it's important to back off when we need to back off, and you've done that, Ellie. Maybe it was imposed upon you by just burning out like that, but you'll know next time, and that is a life lesson. And really, in the Looking After Number One course that I'm going to tell you about in a minute, that's the message I've tried to share. I've shared in a bit of detail my own story, very similar to those that we've just read, to try and illustrate the point and share some of the really personal stuff that I have learned and the own goals that I scored. It's not what a brilliant job I did in my self-care after. It's what a pig's ear I made of it, and here's what I learned so that you don't have to. So, another question. I haven't written down who this is from, sorry. How do you stay positive when the job is so full of negativity from both service users and from colleagues? Yeah, absolutely. Wow, I can feel that. I can feel that coming through the screen. How do you stay positive when the job is so full of negativity from service users and colleagues? Really good question. Positivity is a feature of being well, isn't it? So, staying well absolutely is the trick. So I'm going to share just a couple of minutes here. I've got 5 strategies for positivity. Thank you for whoever asked this question. 5 strategies for positivity, and I've got 3 practice principles for building a self-care plan. This will just give you a flavour of the feel for the course, Looking After Number One course. So I'm just going to put that link up while I'm talking about this. That's where you can get information on the course. That'll take you to a landing page. This link doesn't commit you to buy anything. It's just the information there. There's some videos you can watch and so on. So have a look at that if you want. So 5 strategies for positivity. Number 1, capture the good stuff. Capture the good stuff. That's a kind of general principle. And I think the question struck me when it says, how do you stay positive when the job is so full of negativity? And that's absolutely right. Trish and Dusty and I, when we're training, we often say to people, because it's true and it's obvious, but it needs saying, I think, is we're only involved in people's lives because their lives are difficult. We wouldn't be there if it was fine. You don't make a referral because everything's fine. You make a referral, you get involved, you have an assessment, you undertake a piece of work. You have professionals involved because it's not fine, it's difficult. So I think acknowledging that's important. But in acknowledging that, it's important to capture the good stuff. So that's number 1. It's like the post about the Stacey Watson's post about being the care leaver and all that stuff. That is so. It's lovely. I almost wept when I watched that video. Honest, it really. I just sat here thinking, my gosh, I've just been dealing with family who were really. I was an hour and about 20 minutes trying to help in a family on the phone, dealing with some really, really proper, difficult, challenging. I mean, off the charts, challenging. I'm feeling a bit wrung out and thinking, man, this is hard work. It takes its toll. And then watching that video and thinking, oh, do you know what? There's good stuff happening. There's good stuff happening as a result of what we all do, but we have to capture it. So here's some ways to capture it. 4 ways. So number 1 is capture it. Number 2 is the first way. Have an encouragement email folder. Have an encouragement email folder. I haven't got my email open, so I will show you. But you can keep a folder in your emails. Probably have it on your home email so you can forward stuff in from work, and also so that you can gather encouragement from elsewhere. You, like me, you'll be involved with your friendship groups and sports clubs. I've got the church group at BCLC in Bridgend, and people sometimes send little encouragements. So have an encouragement folder. So even if you're wading through a work email and somebody just said, oh, thanks for turning up to the meeting today, it was really good to have you there and just offered a different perspective, thanks. You think, okay, great, that's a little sparkle of of gold in a mound of rubble, and you want to grab that, capture it and stick it in your encouragement folder. I love having a quick tour through my encouragement folder. It's fantastic. So do that. If you're out somewhere and somebody says something to you that's encouragement, ping it down to yourself in an email. So and so said to me today, quote, bang, bang, bang. Ping it to yourself in an email. If your mum and dad say something nice to you, if your kids just say, thanks, mum, for that, really appreciate that, or thanks, nan, or whatever it is, ping it to yourself and capture it. It's so easy to lose the good stuff, particularly in relation to work. Capture it, send an email, keep it in the folder. I use Evernote a lot. I live in Evernote. It's my brain, Evernote. It's my memory. And I have Evernotes of cards. You know, when you finish a piece of work, particularly when I was doing a lot of therapeutic work and you're doing long pieces of work, sometimes for a year or more with the child, and them or their family will ping it, will maybe just ping a card. So I will just take a photo of the card with my phone and keep it in Evernote, so that I've got an encouragement folder in Evernote as well for other things that maybe don't suit email. Two other things to capture the good stuff. Good company. I know it seems daft and it's hard during lockdown, but there are people I want to be with just because when I've been with them for a few minutes or a couple of hours, I feel better in their company. I have a mate, Liam, who just makes me laugh, man. He's good because he's a soulmate. He's like me. I'm close to him. I love him. He's a great mate. But I can ring him up and it lifts. I lift. It's fantastic. Good company. Find out who those people are. Get with them. Ring them. Write to them. Ping them an email. Send them a note. Start something going. Get with good people. I know Dusty has a thing on Zoom on like a Wednesday or Thursday night where they have a virtual tapas bar with his friends, and I'm sure you'll have versions of this. Whatever you do that gets you with good people, do that. Use it. Do it deliberately. If you feel the pressure coming on you, arrange something. Ring somebody just to chew the fat and be with somebody who's positive. I know this is not a religious thing, but there's a verse in the Bible that says, bad company corrupts good character. I often remind myself of that, because the opposite is also true. Good company helps me stay cheerful. So get with good people. I know it's blindingly obvious, but there's real gold in that, I think. And then fifthly, laugh. Laugh on purpose. Find stuff that makes you laugh. Capture that. Capture little videos. Keep memes. I have a jokes album, photo album on my phone, because there's so many memes and stuff around it and little gifs that are funny. Things that really make me laugh. If I laugh out loud when I watch something, I keep it in that folder. And I can just go back. Sometimes I'm just cruising through my phone. I think, I'll just have a quick look. And before I know it, I'm laughing out loud and tears streaming down my face because somebody's doing something really funny on a meme. So there you go. Capture the good stuff. Get yourself an encouragement email folder. Open an Evernote or a note file or a notebook and capture the good stuff that way. Good company and laugh. Do it deliberately. I go into much more detail and loads more of those on the course as well. So that's 5 kind of strategies for positivity. This next bit is just 3 principles for building a self-care plan. 3 Ds. Be deliberate, be determined, and be diligent. So firstly, be deliberate. Self-care doesn't happen by accident. It really just doesn't. Occasionally something might happen. You think, oh, that's just what I needed. But we need to be better at winding the clock back and asking ourselves, what do I need? And then making that happen. Good self-care happens on purpose, folks. I realised by being passive, I was actually being neglectful of what I needed, and eventually hit the wall and got in really quite a shocking mess over it, similar to the challenges that Lynn has shared, and particularly Ellie's situation. So be deliberate. Self-care has to be done on purpose. That's the first thing. Secondly, be determined. Really important this. Be determined. Don't apologise for doing it, and make it a priority. I used to follow Michael Hyatt, and still do sometimes online. He's an online business person and marketing guy, and so on. But he used to always say, if it's not in the diary, it won't get done. So he'd put everything in his diary: date night with his wife, time with his kids, and he'd block out all of those times, meal times with the family, everything, because it helped him to get his priorities right and to be deliberate. And a reminder would come up: you're doing this next. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And you're in work mode, so you go and you do that. Now that doesn't particularly suit me. I don't do that. But I like the principle of that, which is, don't just be deliberate. You've got to be determined and make it a priority. And then thirdly, be diligent. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. This is where I fail sometimes. I set off to try and be better at this week, because it's been a long time in the coming, this course, and like you guys, we're 10-12 weeks into lockdown, and it's getting a bit wearing, and I needed some time out. So I said to Dustin and Trish, I'm gonna take it easy. Well, I haven't. I had a walk on Monday afternoon and then finished work at 2:30 this morning. So I fail on this sometimes, but once I've knocked this off today, and I've got one phone call later, I'm going to call it a day. So be deliberate, be determined, and be diligent. Keep doing it. We have to keep doing it. So there we go. Again, that's just a flavour of the kind of stuff that's on the course. I'm going to have a look, pop over onto some chat, just checking what you guys are saying. Let's have a look. Jackie, afternoon, Johnny. Managed to take a break so I could join in. Love Harry the Hound book. Great. Welcome, Jackie. What else we got? Martin, you work nights. There's me doing your head in about not posting at night time. Sorry, mate. I didn't realise you work nights. I'm getting one of your posts and thinking, gee, he's worse than me, man. He's up all godly hours a night. Let's have a look. Neil, loving the t-shirt, mate. Sorry, I can't stay. I've got a meeting. Go for it, man. Harry just saying, yeah, Team Fabric have purchased the online course for all our staff. They have. I'll tell you more about how you can do that in a bit, because you might want to recommend it to managers. We have a system where you can buy it for a load of people, even cheaper still if you want. Lynn Davis, yes, Lynn signed up for the course. Bless you, thank you, Lynn. Ellie saying, I have a praise and grumble email folder for those toxic days. Brilliant. Yeah, says it really helps. Yeah, we have a moans channel. Trish and Dusty now in the TRM Academy Slack. We use Slack as a group kind of messaging and workflow process, and we have a moans channel in there. It's great, and an encouragement channel. Gainer Rosier, hi. Harry the Hound book arrived. Thanks. Be useful to share with some of my families, like the worksheets. Brilliant. Let's have a look. Lovely. Fab. All right, great. Thank you, guys. Really good to have you on there and be able to pick up some of the flavour of what's going on for you. Right, quick swig of coffee, and then I'm not doing a Facebook recommendation today. What I'm going to do instead is take you through and show you a bit of this course. This is probably, unless I do a bit next week, probably the only time you'll have a chance to see inside the self-care course. So there we go. So here we go. This is our brand new, 2 months in the making, lots of heartache, online self-care course. There we go. Yes, I've been fiddling with my buttons again. Right, here we go. So if you purchase a course, which you can do through this link, or this link is information, but you can get through to purchase it. You can go to trmacademy.com/selfcare as well. If you go through to there and you buy the course, we will send you. You get a code, and you log in to the website. So what I'm going to do is share my screen with you. It'll bring you through. Now I'm going to log in as a pretend punter so that you can see this. So I've got to remember this password. Dusty kindly set up for me. So I'm logging in as Betty from the Flintstones. There we are. So you log in. Now, you may come through. I'm not sure whether you'll come through straight to this page or you'll come in through to the training room page, but you'll be logged in, and you know that on the top of the page here, you can see Betty Rubble on the top there. And then if you can see on my courses here, there's a drop down to looking after number 1, or if you purchased it, I'm guessing this link here will also take you through to it. So if I go through to that, you'll be able to see, it'll bring you here. Now this is the front page for the course. So you can see here the course. I'll scroll this because I know when you're watching it on screen it's difficult if somebody scrolls. There are 4 sections. This is like the contents page for the course. There are 4 sections, and I should say that the course really is designed to do 3 things. It shares some principles and solutions of self-care, why it's important, what can go wrong, how to fix it, that stuff. The second sort of stream of it is that in parallel I share my journey and how I've really had to hit the wall before I discovered how to do this well. And then the third bit is it facilitates you to find and establish your own self-care plan. So if you look on this introduction section here, it just says hello and it welcomes you in. There are 12 videos on here. There's a load of material. There's a workbook and so on. So if you see here, it says course workbook. So I'm going to click on that, and that takes you through to here. Now this is the workbook that goes alongside it. Now you can either have this open in another pane as an online thing like this. If you want to be able to, these are all the videos here, and these links take you through to the different parts of the workbook. But if you wanted to download the workbook and print that, obviously you can do that. Some people will prefer a paper version. It gives you a chance to scribble on it. If it was me doing this, that's what I would do. I tend to do this when I'm doing online courses, only because I find that later, quite often then later when I've finished scribbling on it stuff, I'll scan it in and upload it to the computer. But I like it when I'm on it to be able to capture thoughts and things as I'm going through. You can also, from here, at the end of each section, there are exercises. So that's the kind of workbook that runs in parallel. As I say, you can print that off. So if I go back here, and for each section, you click on the introduction here, it turns blue. That's a link. If we click on that, it takes us through to, and you can see the video here. Now I'm going to turn the sound off on my keyboard, but I'm going to play you just if I just click on that so you can see it. It plays you the video. You can either watch that there, or you can blow it up and watch it live. You're going to get a fearfully close-up view of my horrific mugshot on there. If I move me across, I'll show you on the bottom of my screen here on the Mac. You can see there are subtitles. So if you want, you can put the subtitles on there, and you watch it however best suits you. So feel free to do that, and all the functionality is there. This where you see these little bubbles, these are the exercises. Oh, it won't open that at the moment, sorry, because I haven't got it set up for that. The exercises, what they do is they take you through the sort of thinking process of arriving at your own conclusions, really. So in this, I'm talking about the importance of self-care. So in the exercise, there will be there will be an option to do that. So in the personal stock take section, which is section 2, I think there are 3 or 4 videos in here. We look at why self-care. So there's a link to the personal stock take. This is a professional quality of life survey. Let's open that and have a quick look so you can have a look at that. So that takes you through, and you can actually do a survey whereby you answer the questions. That asks you questions in relation to quality of life, self-evidently, but also gives you a chance to really think that through for yourself, and it gives you a kind of summary of that and feedback for that. So Dusty's done a fine job of getting all that. You can read over, there are direct links from here to read over the workbook, and you can take the quizzes, the exercise at the bottom. So this, I give a simple definition. There's the posh definition of vicarious trauma. You can go to the simple definition, which is mine. As you know, what I do is always simple. And then you could just click on here and it reveals the answer. And that's the kind of way that it goes, working through all of that. So there we go. I hope that kind of gives you a bit of a flavour. The other sections are the danger signs section, so you can navigate from the right hand side here. I think there's 4 in this one. Is it danger signs, bulletproof worker, macho work culture, and the kind of processes by which the poor self-care can creep up on us and cause us a problem. And again, you've got links through to workbook and summary and all of that. Anyway, so I hope that's useful, guys. I need to show you, when you do kind of get through to the end, it will self-generate a automatically if you finish the exercises. So if you buy the course, you obviously get access to the material and everything in there, and you can run through that. If you work through the exercises and do the work, but you will get a certificate which you can then use towards your continued professional development. It's a one-day. This is from our 3-day course, but it's the similar, and it has the looking after number 1 across the middle. I'm sorry, I neglected to download that to show you beforehand, but you do get a certificate for that, so which would be well deserved, of course. So there we go. That's a quick peep inside the course. I hope that's useful to you. We're starting to get some feedback. I know one of the fabric guys, Simon, who's done it, sent some feedback to say he'd really enjoyed it and benefited from it, and needs to crack on and start doing it now, which is always the challenge. So there we go. So if you've been watching this on YouTube, please subscribe so that we can get these videos to you. So that's it for that. In terms of let's have a look. Information. Let's have a look. Let me just have a look at, see if anything in the comments I need to answer or think about, because that'd be useful. Self-care course is fantastic. Thank you, Ree, for saying that. Ree was the first person who bought it. As soon as it went live, she was on it. I was trying to think of a polite metaphor for being on it, but flies and other things came to mind, so I won't say that. Thank you, Ree, anyway, for buying that. I can't tell you how encouraging that was. Bless you. Thank you. So there we go. So what we're going to do is I'm still working on ways of trying to get the comments into this stream so that you can see the comments on the page. I may not be able to do that in Facebook. You might have to wait to YouTube for that. So I think that's it, unless there are any more. Oh, right. Deborah's asking a question. How many hours and how long is allowed to complete it? Yeah, I should have answered that. It's a poor job by me. Well done. Thank you, Deborah. Okay, so there is a workbook you can watch online, or you can download, or both. There are 12 videos. I think the shortest is 5 or 6 minutes, and the longest is 21 or 2 minutes. The average length of the videos is 14 minutes, I believe. So they're nice bite-sized chunks. I think there's about 2 hours and 40 minutes worth of video presentation and input and stuff, and the videos obviously have got captions, and we can cut to other screens, and there's things that appear as information, and there's links and all kinds of stuff on there. So how much of that you chase out will depend how long you take. There is no time limit for you to complete it. For as long as we in TRM Academy are alive and able to provide the training room for you, you'll have lifetime access to it. It'll be our lives, not yours, so we might snuff it before you. But you effectively get lifetime access to the course, Deborah, so there's no limit on that. Once you're in and registered, you can use the course, watch it, you can go back to it, you can go in and rewatch the videos, you can redo it again later if you want. There's no limit to that. So there's no pressure on you to finish it in a given time. It's your course, it's self-directed, you just take it at your own pace. Lynn signing out. Cheers, Lynn. Have a great week. Now, Bernie's just hopped on to say Welsh news. Schools go back. Phased return 29th of June. All children will touch base before the end of summer. And then there'll be 2 weeks off in October. That's in Wales. Okay, fab. So again, guys, go back to that schools link stuff. It's in the description. I posted it on the Trouble Kids page already, because it sounds like you're going to need that in about 3.5-4 weeks time. So there we go. Okay, just time for a quick book giveaway. So what I'm going to do, because I can, if you want the book, I've got 2 of these, so you need to be writing me now in the comments if you'd like me to send you a copy of these. This is the book that sits behind the Looking After Number 1 course. So start writing me in the comments, and I'm going to play our fanfare and round of applause, just because it pleases me to be technically able to do it. If you would like a copy of the book, please put me in there. I'm going to play the fanfare in about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. During the fanfare, I'm going to do my eyes shut, flick through the thing, and then I'm going to give you 2 names of people to win the book. Ready for the fanfare? Write me now to be in with the chance. Here we go. Okay, I've got Lynn Davis, and I've just lost Diane. It was Diane. I came across Dusty. You would have won it, mate. But he's put not me, because he's absolutely sick of the sight of it for having been preparing it with me for 2 months. Diane Jackson. Lynn Davis and Diane Jackson. Guys, if well done. I mean, well done. Serendipity. The gods of the internet have chosen you. So if you email me, here's my email now, mail@johnnymatthew.com. Email me there your postal address. I nearly said email me your landline. That's how tired I am. Email me your postal address, and I will get that out to you. So very well done, Lynn and Diane. Lynn, and I haven't got anything I can write that on. Lynn and Diane, please email me. That'll be brilliant. Okay, couple of really quick things before we dive out of here. Just to remind folk, if you are watching this on YouTube and you want to join us live, nip into Facebook, search up Troubled Kids Group, and we will we'll click you through. You can join the group, or you can obviously subscribe on YouTube as well. 2 other points of information. We're going live again next Wednesday, same time at noon. I'm going to have a self-care emphasis again. So please put your questions in the comments, either on YouTube or in Facebook. A couple of people have emailed me. You can do that if you like. But send those through, because I want to kind of I want to kind of meet need. I want this to be helpful. Obviously, folk can buy the course if they want, but if you're not planning to do that, I want this to be helpful to you, free of charge. So questions on self-care or anything else, get them in the comments, and I'll do a bit of a mix and match next week. We'll do a bit of self-care and a bit of other stuff as well. So that's Wednesday 10th of June next week at noon, as always. Self-care emphasis. Lastly, on Friday the 12th of June at noon, I'm going to go live on here just to answer questions from the comments. So if there's nobody here, it'll be a very short broadcast, but that's fine. So I'm going live, and it's an Ask Me Anything session on Friday the 12th of June at noon. I just want to be available. I'm very aware that this course is going to be nearly 60 quid normally, and I want you guys to be sure that it's what you want before you decide not to buy it and leave it till it's more expensive later. So if you've got questions about it, I want to do an Ask Me Anything about the self-care stuff Friday on the 12th of June at noon, and I literally will rock up and open the comments, and I'll be available for an hour. We may not need that, as I say. It might be a very short broadcast, but if you're here, because I want to be available if people have got questions about that, about the course or about self-care in general, I want to be available to answer those. Lastly, just to say, if you're from an organisation, school, agency, foster care agency, social services department, whatever it might be, and you may want to make this training available for your staff group, or you want to recommend it to your boss for the staff group, just to say that 10 or more triggers a discount. So if you would like to avail yourself of that, or you've got any questions about that, hop onto the live Ask Me Anything session on the 12th of June at noon, or just email me, mail at johnnymatthew.com, and Dusty and I will provide you with information for bulk buy-in. As I say, Harry and Fabric bought 50, I think, and there's a good discount on that. Bearing in mind it's already less than 50% of what it will be by when it goes off sale on the 14th of June. Anyway, there we go. Bless you. Thanks for being on, folks. It is great to have you here. I really appreciate it. There's 33 of you still on. There were a lot more than that midway through. I will try and put some timestamps in the YouTube video. Meantime, please look after yourselves. It is so important. I am on Friday gonna have an easy day. That's my commitment, so I shall be accountable for that next week. So stay well, look after yourselves. Thanks for being here. Spread the word, and keep serving those kids. They need you, and they need you on your best form. Bless you. See you next week. Cheers.